Alright, looks like everything's working. Sorry for the background noise, Grant. No one's gonna be watching this except for Seth later. Um, he just lost to Cyber Shredder, who is the current Racing King Shield holder, but the person in lead, which is R2300, also referred to as Avi, he had beaten him. So he's got a pair against Sprite and FIFA 21. Zerked against him. I practiced with him. I don't know what he'll play though. Okay, so just standard King G3, Knight takes F2. Standard King push line, just to pin the rook. And then the second variation, which throws the knight here, so this move is not available quite yet. There's a couple variations. I'm pretty sure this one's directly losing for white. I think that gives up the, if it gives it back to equal though. But yeah, pretty standard line here with the rook and knight covering for Sprite and FIFA here. I'm curious what Seth is gonna do though. Here looks pretty good, but followed by rook to b7, not as much. Take straight away, rook b8. Think he can play here. Yes, with that move obviously following, maybe dropping that down. I think that the king needed to come to f7 first, but now it's lost because the rook covers now. Here, I guess there is here. So it was a draw, okay. I missed that he could come to here. I'm pretty sure Seth had a win though. I can check later if I want to. But at the moment I'll just continue watching his games. But if we go back here, I think that this was won with maybe here. Comes to here. And then there's the bishop to h6. I think that would have won. Alright, so against Chichinho, he opens up with bd4. He has the white pieces this time, and he's served again. Just standard bishop symmetry, king push. And plays queen h6, just the standard line. And then the rook g6 line, so so this is a blunder. This is just straight away a blunder. Because you're forced to trade off the bishop. You have no center hold now. Your other bishop's underdeveloped. Your major pieces are underdeveloped. Just not a very good position for black. It's not directly losing, but it is lost. Yeah, very strong position for white. Okay, did not see what happened. Oh, bishops traded off, and then the knight comes to the center. Yeah, very strong position for white. You can take down, let that knight go, because your king will have here, unless queen takes. And regardless, your major pieces are just very well coordinated right now. And black's king is not up, cannot advance. I'd even play here, queen to f6 first. Sorry, I missed a couple moves there, but it's because there's something stupid on Discord with me streaming. Oh, hi Seth. Glad to see you tuned in. Granted that you're playing the game, so not really helpful for you to watch this. Still very strong position for white. You're gonna have to be able to work with what you have though. It's gonna be quite tough with the queen there and the king covering the g8 square. But this doesn't win, unfortunately, because after rook takes, and queen takes, well, the queens will take, and you'll lose. But yeah, blunder by Cecchino to leave this diagonal open now. Just completely won. I think Cecchino might have been able to hold on for a little bit longer. The rook could come here to block off this spot, and the king could come here at some point, but wasn't lost yet. And it looks like we're waiting for another game. But yeah, overall, a nicely played game by Seth. And Cecchino, just from the opening, was lost here. Just fundamentals that you don't want to exchange this bishop if you don't have to. The line is, though, to take here, which is fine. But oh, and here's the player who usually plays that line, Sriram Prasad. Wonder what he's gonna play against him. Looks like they're heading into the same line. Maybe king e5. Nope, queen h6 again from Seth. And yep, they play the normal line. Queen a5. The theory bb2. Yep, rook here. So each has a very strong major piece hold, but white has a double diagonal compensation for major piece down, and plus black's other rook is not very well developed. I thought that knight to g3 was the move to come here, move up. Because I thought it was no, it's not terrible. There is also this move at some point. I remember. I don't remember the root line exactly, but it's not a bad position for white. This may all be prep too. I haven't been watching every single one of his games, just basically the overall performance. But Sriram did win the first game, and Sriram was white. There is a 45-second delay though. So at least Seth won't be cheating if I do point something out. In this position though, yeah, black has that idea of playing either knight there. I would prefer the d knight to stop this, but I believe Seth's wise enough and will just immediately play king g5. Oh, he can't. Never mind. I'm stupid. I don't like queen h4. Sure, it hits the queen, but black can trade the queen off. And after here, you have you don't have rook to b7, but you do have rook to b8, and you can potentially drop this rook down. And sure, they do cover the 7th rank. You have the knight here, but then this knight's lost, and you have a knight and a rook oddly placed with your king on h7. with the best outcome. And yeah, you can simply do that. Prevent king g5. If you trade queens, you're just completely lost because you can't even play king g5 and fight for a draw. And after this, is he planning on taking with the king? He's planning on doing that first. There is king to c5 now, though. The knights are very well placed in the center and active, so to me this looks equal after king c5, with probably rook b6 coming. Rook b6 followed by rook e6, and probably rook to f8. And after rook f8, rook e8. It does look like a pretty solid position, though. It's going to hold regardless. I saw that move too. It doesn't accomplish much, really. I don't see a move after this with the knight, except for maybe knight to d5, hitting the rook. But after knight to d5, so allows knight to d5. So knight to d5, and place the knight back. I don't know what's wrong with knight to d5. Because you're going to push the rook off, and then you're going to get this square. And he can't cover king to e6. And it looks like you just have a free advance there from black. But either way, it still worked out. But it was no longer a free advance. Unless he wants to do the same idea here. That is a clever way to deal with it. To bring the knight here, and then the knight here. So to have b6 and... b5 and d6. You can't play here, unfortunately. You can't give up this rook. And yeah, you have to play here to prevent king to a7, because otherwise, if you were to take king to a7, and you have to play here, and then that actually doesn't look too bad. I don't know why he didn't take, because the rook's misplaced. If it was on h8, then I consider it, because then the rook can drop back, and you don't really have a way to be able to make your king go forward, except for dropping the knight back. But I don't know. Looks like that would have been potentially winning if just takes. Time scramble here though. Good end game technique by Seth. He needs to get his knight there though, is the issue. And he's not able to find his knight getting to the spot he needs it to get to, and is just shuffling. Yes, knight to f4 and then knight to g6 would win here. That just gives up a free move, and you're lost now, bud. That's unfortunate for Seth. If he gets his knight to g6, the thing is that his rook has to come here, and then you can play this move, knight to f6, and you basically force this rook off. And if takes, I guess there might be some complications with that, but then you have your king moving over. You need to figure out how to get your rook off of the attack of the king, though, after king to f6, with g6 needed to play first, knight to g6 to get the rook to g8. So he has the black pieces here. It was a rather normal king push. Playing the line that I developed quite nicely was playing to knight to f4 after knight to e4. And it actually goes into the technical mistake version, but it's not lost. It does look like it's the normal game. That does look very nice. I think he needed to play bishop h6 there. I think Seth took a draw when he didn't need to. Oh, but this should be a good game. I Make Many Mistakes versus Seth. I think he's just missing a couple bishop moves to stop the king from advancing, and he would have had wins in drawn king to g3 lines. So king h3 line looks like the normal stuff that Seth and Mistakes play. Strong position for black. Black's up a knight, but not really. This knight's not developed and can be taken. Can't really be developed because of this bishop, which you can't take at this point. Maybe queen takes d4 after this. For white, this rook is very nice to hit, maybe even pin, just to complicate the position, but black can advance after some moves. Maybe even considering this. After takes, playing bishop takes f6, which that is played for white. Black in this situation, I'd have to calculate out takes, and that does not look very good. But yes, bishop, queen takes d4, queen takes the bishop, looks very nice. After here, there is this, and after a rook, you can slide the rook over, play rook to b8, potentially bishop b2. White has some ideas of maybe playing queen to h8 at some point before that, like here, just to push the rook off. But there is rook takes that you have to be worried about. So after rook to c8, I think that's the only move here. Oh, rook to e8, I think it's not terrible. But here, there is rook takes, bishop b2. So I don't think he can play king to h7 immediately. Oh, he did play. I was considering queen h5 first. But I guess there is rook to h8 if you play queen h5 first, followed by this, and then takes the queen. I think that's actually losing for black if that were the case. But there is rook h8 complications there. There's probably another move that I'm missing there that complicates it. So yeah, the rook exchange, bishop b2, like I expected. Oh, I have another view tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, but just kind of commentating on Seth stuff. Nothing real great here to see. Yeah, you just feel like this move just directly wins, doesn't it? Where is your queen gonna go? Seth blunders a rook there. He's missed a lot of endgame situations where he blunders a rook, but that's why I like queen h5 because it potentially hits here. Endgame blunder where he just lost concentration and lost a rook. He didn't reserve. He had the time to think it out in a very not easy endgame. Of course, you needed your minor piece to develop, but you gotta make sure your major pieces are in check before you can just play something fast like that. Now against Duvid. Duvid's played very solid as of recent. So yeah, he did miss wins there, possibly. I know it's at least drawn with the position. So playing into his queen h6 line, we're gonna play rook g6. I'm not a fan of this line. I'm not all that big about sacking major pieces with a complicated position like this in the center. It's basically just too drawish. If you do move your king up, on the other hand, sure you don't have a lot of material to work with, but there are a lot of swindles that you can do to get wins, especially in time pressure. But yeah, another blunder here to play queen c6. I don't know what the idea is after they play queen c6. I can understand a move to maybe queen c8, obviously there's bishop h3, but then why would you play queen c6? I just don't understand this. Yeah, basically you're just letting your queen get chased around and letting their major and minor pieces develop for it. That's why queen a5 is the move. It prevents the king from moving forward, and it doesn't allow them to freely develop a piece without you developing a piece, because like you're just behind in development. Sure, you can develop your pieces, but yeah, what it's a good line for white if black doesn't know the move queen a5 and rook b5. But after queen a5, rook b5, I really don't think there's much chances of white to win if black is just paying attention and holding true to mid-game tactics, endgame tactics, basic positional stuff. Queen d6 is played, and did he just not see the bishop a3 idea? Or does he have a plan for it? Because with the bishop a3 idea I will have played here, if there is a pin, but then you do have this move to kick off the queen. And you do also have the rook move to follow to hit the bishop back, and then you can advance either here, because if takes you have freely here and your rook can come. And even if you take the rook, there's the knight move, and that's basically mate in 2 with these bishops. Played out weirdly, but yeah, that you don't really have moves for your queen at that point. I would have sacked the queen, just giving up the rook. Although the rook wouldn't have come here because it takes, followed by queen takes. Difficult position for black. Overall, it's just losing once you play queen c6. I don't know what the attraction behind queen c6 is besides, bishop lines do have these where you after you play queen h8, you play the queen c6, even queen d5. So I'll think about getting it on this diagonal, but it's when you have your bishop here and when you don't have to be forced to give up that bishop, unless you can trade their bishop off immediately. So yeah, just kind of a mind slip to just blunder that. Overall, not a terrible position by Djokovic to find rook b7, knowing that if takes, you basically just give him your bishop diagonals and you can advance now. But that's a losing move, just takes. I would not have played queen g7. I would have played rook to e7. But it still works. You do have king g7. Just slight differences in playstyle, endgame maneuvers. Both win, but endgame move order matters a lot of the time. And sure, you can't play queen to g7 after, but to me that's just personal preference. Because you have the double diagonal, no need to rely on anything else. Wow, that was a beautiful game. Not sure what you're referring to. I believe that was this last one. Wasn't really beautiful. It was just the fact that there was a queen c6 blunder, and then after that was basically in your book. Oh, and hi, Tugger. Nice of you to tune in. So another one of these lines. Yeah, that's a blunder. That's just immediately a blunder. I don't remember how the lines played out, but yeah, that's just you just take the knight there. You can't play here. I believe rook g8 is usually the move, but you don't have to be too worried. Oh, white resigned. Oh, at least Seth didn't berserk. If Seth berserked, then would have been like, at least play the move 6. I think it's 6. It's either move 6 or 8. But yeah, just fundamental blunders in that line. Rook g7 is a move, and knight f4 is a move, I know. I don't know much further than that anymore. You should play it quite a bit. Oh, and I got a follow. Not sure from who, but thanks for whoever followed me. Alright, Nato versus Seth. I played Nato recently. He's in very good form. Much better than he was back when I was around this level of play. So just the standard king g3, knight takes f2, rook takes f2 line. Oh, and plays rook takes d2. So this is just a standard draw. Plays here, you take knight to d3 because you don't want to lose the second knight. You can't defend it with the king, so you have to play knight to d3 with initiative. Attacks the rook. Rook to d1 is the common move here. I know rook to c7 is also played, and it complicates the position a bit. But yeah, rook to d1, rook takes h1, and then rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes. It's a draw. After here, you get your king to the 5th rank. There's really no hope of getting your king past the 4th rank until you allow them to move to the 6th rank. And at that point, you'll just have the 2 pieces to compensate on the 7th and 8th rank for black to try to cut this off, while white would be able to drop the rook down, prevent the 2 ranks, and then have the time to be able to maneuver the bishop to the 8th rank, to pass to the 8th rank. So it's basically a standard draw if you play it out that way. Usually it's just a shuffle. You have bishop to c2. Thank you, Tucker, for the follow then. I'm sorry, I have a 45-second delay if I'm not responding to the chat that quickly. But yeah, thank you for the follow then. I'm not really looking for the follows particularly because I'm not really going to be a Twitch streamer. But thank you anyway. I kind of like this move to maneuver the bishop here if the king moves back. Because yeah, now you're just down a move. Although you still have the maneuver. I would like to see the bishop on d7 in this position. Obviously you can't now, but if the king ever drops back again, bishop to d7 maneuver is very nice. Because you have ideas of this and advancing. Obviously, after takes, you're lost because of this. Idea where the rook comes for the sack. I don't even know if you need to sacrifice the rook because I think your queen will be able to come to h8 after. Oh, wait, what? Did he just play the rook to... I don't understand why he has to play the rook there. Is it just prevent this? Because then you have this diagonal to keep in check with. And they're not going to advance any farther because their queen's kind of screwed at that point. Is this drawn? After takes, queen h7, queen e7, my bad, and bishop here. But they're probably just going to shuffle pieces, either until someone makes an obvious mistake. I like my chances here, though, after rook takes. And then you have the queen here after king takes back. Sure, you have this. Then there's this. Here. It does look like white wins, though. Rook c4 was played, obviously. Honestly, you're either going to shuffle until someone times out, or offer draw, or until someone blunders. Oh, your own stream in 2 minutes for Anti-Chess World Championship. That's cool. Or is it the World Cup? I don't know if there's a difference in that in the anti-chess community. I know there was a Lie Anti-Chess World Cup or something like that. There's a couple of them, but I don't remember entirely. But that's cool. And so it ends up being a draw by mutual agreement. Like I said, what happened? It's a very drawish line to play that. I prefer to take on with the queen here. That way you at least win the knight in the center. And then you get your king to d5 immediately. And therefore you have a little bit better chances as white. Seth's observing this game. I wonder if he paused. Just gonna check the... Oh, he did not pause. Just gonna check the arena right quick, but he did not pause. So just going into bishop symmetry king e5 line. Central dominance. Takes here, yeah, it's a very nice move. This move is interesting, knight to d3. I haven't looked into this line a lot, but I really find it curious. Because there really is no good move to deal with the knight. Because if you're giving up that, then you give up this diagonal. Sure, you could come back, but then you're just a tempo down. And the bishop is crucial here to cover this square as well as this diagonal. Typical to just give up the d1 and d2 knights in this line as black. So there's this. I wonder if takes and there's fine. But yeah, you just gave up your bishop, buddy. It's a common accident in this line to just give up the bishop. And sure, you can potentially win it back, but yeah, I would not have played that move. There's a series of unforced errors there. It's a very difficult line to play against, though, the knight d3. I'd have to look at that more into detail on how to play that whole championship. And as soon as someone says World Cup in the Discord, guarantee Phil will make a tournament with that acronym. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. He makes a lot of tournaments. That's kind of funny. So Queen H4 line was played. You got two strong diagonals. This is a 2K player now. You can't really have any errors in the theory if you play this line though, because it can easily fall apart for white, which I don't know if it just did, because you're gonna have this situation. Oh, yeah, clever move. I don't know if there is a good way to try and attempt at this for black. I don't think this is theory at all. For black, I feel like this is one of those errors played that is actually losing. But yeah, you just lost the rook, but yeah, your queen was... that was embarrassing for Seth. He had such a strong hold of the position. Something like queen c6 probably works here. That was embarrassing. Very embarrassing. But it happened. It happens. I'll go check on the arena right quick. Avi's in the lead. He hasn't had a very, very great couple of last hours. He had a very, very good start, though. As you can see about at the 3rd hour mark in the middle here, that he started to drop down in level. But yeah, it looks like Avi can, if he can hold this, that he'll have a pretty good shield victory. Cyber Shredder is potential, but Mistakes is paused. Seth's not in form right now, so but I'll head back to the game. And a king e5 bishop symmetry line was played. Standard line, it looks like, with queen to a6, queen to h8, rook to b7. I believe queen e8 is the more common move here, but rook g8 I know has been played. Bishop a3, common theme, to eventually hit these three squares as they become crucial to have the major pieces there for white. I'm pretty sure there's a way to trade it off for a queen and then just to pin it until a draw. Yeah, standard moves. It looks all like it's been played before. I don't know if it's actually the theory, but I know it's been played before. Pretty common looking position with the queen to c6 and the rook on b7. Reluctant to play king b5 because you want to develop this rook at some point. Rook to g6 I don't think is a common move though. It might be the theory, but I mean you're just going to lose a rook at that point, and then you can slide the rooks and have a double on the 7th rank. So chooses to give up the queen for 2 ranks. And Natso now plays here, which I don't know if that's how it has to be played. Here looks like a decent move to cut off the king to c6, force king to b6. And yeah, there is that though, to block it. I would have played the knight there, to be honest, because after the bishop takes, you can still come to b6 if forced, and play the bishop there. Rook to a8, it's usually a move you play when you're in a lost position and you're desperately fighting for a draw. It's just a thing, and computers will immediately recognize that this is a mistake, blunder, inaccuracy, something that gives up a guaranteed mate sequence if perfect play. Rarely do you ever play the rook to a8 and have the queen on h8. It's just a sprawled position that doesn't work out. But yeah, after here, there's the knight here, the rook can come here. Or rather, not the rook to there, probably the rook to here and then here. So here, so yeah, this should win for black. Well, you don't have to take, but still wins for black. White lost. A good endgame technique from Seth here, because that rook a8 move is just lost whenever you play it. Whenever you're forced to play that move, you're lost. If you're thinking about playing that move, you should reconsider it, because like after analyzing a lot of these endgames, rook to a8 loses if perfect play, and very good players, especially in the 2100 and 2200s, will be able to deal with that rook a8 and at least get a very good position. Alright, thank you for tuning in, Tugger. Yeah, good luck with the homework to you, and yeah, I'll try having fun with this. Just blitzing out the queen h6 bishop symmetry line. Standard line, no, he's going for the draw. Why would you do this? This is basically a draw. So yeah, the idea is king e6, king f7 after rook takes. And then rook to b8 has to be played. If you try to save this with rook g8, which I think is the most common blunder that can be played in this line, you have queen to f8. And because the bishop covers the h8 square, your rook has to come down, and then the bishop comes here, and it's won. And he plays it. So yeah, I just explained why you had to play rook to b8, but rook to b8 after rook to b8, you have to take this rook to be able to go here, and then you just push the king. Bishop has to come here, and yeah, But yeah. Wait, what happened? Queen Jack. Oh, and the bishop here. But I believe you can play bishop to b2. Even bishop to g2. Yeah, the rook's free. But yeah, the rook comes up again. And isn't this drawn now? I mean, like after king d5, it looked like it was drawn. What is Seth doing? What? Seth, Seth, oh no. He gave away a winning position. But yeah. So, I'm pretty sure bishop g2 is the better move here, though, actually. Bishop b5 is, but bishop g2 is a playable move. Bishop b5 was the move, apparently. Makes sense to come here. I don't know if you want to snake like that. Why is bishop b5 the move? Oh, duh. To cover this square after takes. Yeah, I don't know what queen g8 was. I think he just brain slipped and played a move ahead. Oh goodness, my computer probably just died. So it looks like a knight takes e2, rook takes e2, king h3 style line. Not sure what happened here. Why king c2 is rook g6. Shinyo and Seth know their theories in this line pretty well, while I on the other hand don't. So I'm just gonna let them play it out in the opening until it gets to the mid game where it's actually complicated and I can actually have input, because I don't play into these lines because they're so theoretical and there's just too many things to look at here. So just trading the knights off. And at this point, it's probably entered the mid game. Your king on g2 is kind of lonely, but your major pieces are very well developed. On the other hand, black's major pieces are slightly underdeveloped. King is higher. Overall, this looks better for black, though. I think you just have to sack some pieces and king push because your higher ranks are very well developed. Yeah, I don't like that move for black. I don't like that move. I mean, I don't like that move for white, and I don't like this move for black. What's the idea? You're gonna come here with the rook, but yeah, after the bishop slides in, you're not gonna be able to stop. Oh, there's the idea. The bishop comes here. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah. Just completely won. Pretty much standard endgame stuff. I don't have much input here. Queen c1. Oh, nice technique. To get the bishop there, and then yep. This and this, and it's just one. He says one more loss and then he'll take a break. I don't think he's gonna pause yet because that was a loss. Playing against Avi though. Avi's in the lead, having a very good shield. But they've gone back and forth. I don't show the score here, do I? I don't. But their score is even, 3-2. Well, as even as you can get for an odd game that consists of only wins. Looks all pretty nice for black, both black and white here to play through this line. Looks like it was all prep from Seth, and looks like it's all normal situation from Avi, and Avi just blundered a queen. He has what was I gonna say? I totally lost the word. Compensation for it though, with this pin knight, and it's basically a rook and a queen versus two rooks and a knight. Interesting stuff from Avi. And that's a brilliant move. Yeah, just Avi's playing very well today. Yes, and then you take the free knight, and you have established this diagonal. Now it's drawn. It looks drawn to me, at least. Not sure how accurate that was. King h5. This looks lost now. Here, here, and yeah, it looked lost. That was the line I was calculating out after rook takes. Because if you do just play here, then you lose the queen, and even if you go up to here, since you can't take the rook anymore, you still have the rooks to g8 and g7. Yeah, very, very nice find by Seth in that late mid-game position to find a winning endgame. Applause for that game. Oh, hi Sriram. Nice to see you here. Sriram done playing, in fact? I don't know if Sriram is done playing. He's not done playing, but he's still tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, though. Alright, back to the game. Haguitu XD, whoever this is, they play Racing Kings fairly well for someone I've never heard of before. Oh, and he's just going for the draw line. So I'm taking it that since he's going for the draw line this late in the field, with only about a quarter of it left to go, that a lot of people have fallen for that rook g8 trap, and that he's been able to play it through. Rook b7 is an interesting move. Now this looks like a standard king e5 line with misplayed theory of not playing queen c6 before getting the rook there. I'm pretty sure that works. But what I was thinking was that you play the queen to. Oh, I'm stupid. You can't. But that would have been nice. Very nice. But yeah, it works out. I think you need to play rook b7. And then you could have held on for a little bit longer with the king staying here, potentially sliding over to b4. Well played by Seth, though. That line's obviously working out for him. He's gotten 2 winning positions off of it. The international master, Benito Diploma. I was checking him out earlier. He plays fairly well, but yeah, he gets into these positions and he doesn't really know what to do. So he's not a bad player. He probably isn't bad when it comes to a material game and material equality, but when it comes to positional stuff and just RK common sense, I guess, RK logic, he's not the best. which it happens. But obviously, that comes with time. So yeah, all standard stuff from Seth here is black. The bishop a3 and then the queen c6 to cover the diagonal here to block off the advance of the king. As white here, I think that is an option. Personally, I would have played rook g8. Obviously, in this line, I play queen e8 first, and then rook g8, then rook g7, and it's a very similar position, but it's very nicely developed. And you have some quick wins here with this potentially going knight f4 in here. So it seems all standard from this point. Seth should be able to finish this game out. He's playing an international master who doesn't have enough knowledge of recent kings. I would have liked to see this move. On just pointing this back, it cuts off the queen from the king, and rook takes here, for example. Then you have the to take the bishop, and it's just a clever move, but works out. He still just takes after queen takes, rook takes. The queen takes, I almost want to take here instead. But yeah, white's up material. Usually you don't want your queen and rook set up like this. That doesn't work anymore because the queen's covered. I guess should come here, but that's a draw. Is it not? Here, there. That's a draw. He gave up a draw. Honestly, I think that this move might have been winning. In this position, after knight to f4, to have played bishop to e7. I'll check that out afterwards. Kind of a puzzle rush time. But now he's holding on. Tricky position. I didn't see what happened though. They get this. So he really calculated out that rook takes e8 line. Obviously, it does lose the second rook. I felt like it was lost though. It was lost. Was it not? No, that draws. It was drawn for sure. I thought it was lost if the rook takes there. I guess it was a draw. Maybe there's a couple draws there. I'll check that out afterwards as well. Interesting game. I really like this game. You really get these good games with very good players who don't know theory. Interesting. Yeah, this was the whole idea. Draw. Alright, I'm gonna check out this game before watching whatever game Seth plays next. I want to say bishop e7 was won. After knight f4. I want to say before this it was pretty even though. White advantageous, but slightly even. The eval bar suggests that white was not quite winning, but definitely better. You can see the numbers there. I don't have the eval bar. After queen takes d7, yeah. So it says rook b4, but what about this bishop e7? Rook takes e7. Oh, because the bishop takes e8. Okay, that makes sense. I forgot about bishop takes e8. So rook g8 was a blunder, apparently. And bishop f5 was a draw. Yeah. And there is only 2 draws here. Bishop takes d7. Makes sense. Alright, well, there's something being blitzed out. Oh, he's going back to this line. So this is not the line, Seth. Pretty sure you have to take the rook first. Because now the rook can come. Oh, but played back into the draw line. I thought that after this, the rook can come. I guess not. I guess that works out. I don't know what I was thinking. Interestingly played out position, though. I think Queen Eating Dragon analyzed the last game that he lost, though. Interesting idea, hitting the bishop. It's not a position I'm very familiar with, but yeah, I do like the knight f4 idea. Coming here. The issue is that the king can come to the 5th rank, especially here. Interesting position, nonetheless. Alright, so bishop's exchange for knight. What is his plan here? He can't play here anymore because then it would be pinned. And he can't even play his queen to here anymore. King e7, I feel like that's lost. I feel like king g7 was better. So here, if you play king g7, here maybe for black. And is there any follow-up really? Here takes. You have ideas of this. I think king g7 was better. Let's see how it played out though. Took the bishop off the board, and now shuffling the queen around. It looks lost. I don't really think there's any way for. Yeah. Alright, hold on. Ooh, I did not want a new tab. Misplayed his own theory, yes. So first, I want to see here, is queen f8 fine first? I thought there was a move that I saw here that works out, but no, it's fine. So white's actually winning here. Yeah, see, knight g6 works out here in this position. I said king g7, but knight g6 directly wins? Why? What if you pin? Oh, because you can't come here and prevent the queen. And the bishop's prevented. Clever, very clever move. Knight g6, it requires intuition. A lot of intuition. But what stops the draw is that this bishop, you reveal that bishop diagonal. I wanted to see something though. So yeah. But as king g6, king g6 loses. While on the other hand, king g7. While what he played, king 7 actually draws. And he actually had another mate sequence here. Yeah, with the bishop c7 idea that I pointed out before. But he ends up blundering that completely. Unfortunate. What happened here? Misplayed theory from black, and white's just better. He's gonna keep grinding even though he said that he would stop at a draw. At the next loss, not a draw. Doesn't hang a rook. Trades the rook, and you just have a so much better position. Yet the knight comes. You can take the knight off the board if you want. Bishop b2 probably is better. And then you're forced to play here. Trade it off and lose. It's just completely lost. There's no way, and yeah, you just trade it off and lose. Resign moment here. There's really nothing else to play for. You either resign or you just freaking spam moves and take the easy loss. Or you simply play here. There's no point to keep on fighting. Yes, here, and standard endgame technique. Beautiful. Take the queen, and then you win. He's playing well. Let's go check his ranking, though. Avi has paused. Interesting. I don't know if that's an indefinite pause or if he's just studying a game that he lost. He is on a bad streak, so maybe he's just taking a quick break. He does have an over 100 point lead of Cybershatter, who's also paused, and over 100 of Seth. I don't think that Seth can catch him realistically, even if he berserks 100% with how slow the pairing is now. As you can see, no game yet. Realistically, 100 points in an hour and 20 minutes is not there. If he continues this streak, let's say he gets 5 games in the next 20 minutes, and then manages to get, well, actually 6 or 7 is on the high end. So let's say he gets a total of 25 games, which is ridiculous, in the next hour and 20 minutes. That he would, winning out would get 5 times that minus 2. So he'd be able to get it, but that's ridiculous. 25 games in an hour and 20 minutes. Winning them all pretty fast. Looks like his game's back on. And he's playing Avi, who unpaused. What is this? Did Avi play bishop h4 to start? So basically it's bishop d4 symmetry with a misplaced bishop and no queen development. Just now you give him queen h3. This looks like an interesting move, but loses. But don't you give him queen h3 here? Unless he still wants to sack the queen. Still wants to sack the queen, but you have some interesting counterplay. I think white's just lost here. Misplayed it, and there really was no attempt at winning. I think bishop h4 is completely lost, but there is some drawing chances. But yeah, the knight to d3, isn't there just bishop b2 as well? Rook to b7 is a nice developing move to intermediate. There's really nothing here. I still think queen h3 needed to be played first. Potentially queen to c8. King h6 is played, and that's lost. There's no way to win here. There's absolutely no way. Bishop b2, you have bishop takes either. Really, the queen's not getting involved, so not necessary to take. So I wonder if Avi is just kind of throwing away games now, just kind of having fun since he has such a lead, though. And he could just simply be trying to stall out. other opponents? I don't think so. I think he's just having fun at this point, not trying to win every game. Maybe since looks like he's won the Shield, he's gonna give rating to people. I do think that Avi needs like a 20, 30 point more buffer just to be safe in case Seth manages to go like insane mode and actually win it out. Alright, well, I'll take a break here from commentating. I'll leave the game open just to see, but I'll be back in a second. Looks like I missed a pretty easy win for Seth. And he's actually gonna pause for a bit. I don't know if it's now. He says at 4, but if I remember correctly, he's in Eastern time, and that's in 18 minutes. That actually is good timing because I'll have to go at 4. But as it currently stands, he's just going to finish second in the Shield, and it looks like he's just conceding that, even though he's on the roll. Honestly, if he loses, I would consider taking a break and just chilling, but he hasn't, but it is what it is. And then when his game's going against Queen Eating Dragon, what happened? He didn't decide to play his usual line because Queen Eating Dragon decides to take the center with King D5. King D5 is losing. I know it actually works very well against higher level players though, if they don't know what they're doing. Clever development here from Bishop A3 to Bishop D5. I wonder if this works. Because you check the king and you skewer and you win the queen. I'm rusty. I keep missing the no check. What? You would give up the 7th rank. White resigns. I'm curious now. I don't feel like this is losing. Unless I'm missing something. Probably am. Is this lost? It is completely lost, okay. Was it after... So where did he start losing? Oh. When he played Queen b6 instead of Queen a6. Makes sense. Just subtle differences. But yeah, he's lost, so at this point, if I were Seth, I'd just concede the fact that I'm getting second. And I'd pause, take a little break, come back, maybe have a little bit more fun, but there's no way he's going to win against Avi now with such a point lead. Very low scoring shield, though. Kind of an underwhelming shield, in my opinion. Sure, it's January. Usually people come around for the holidays and play it in December, shield, and then they play in the summer, but it's still the January shield. It's still a shield, I don't know, feels very low scoring compared to what usually happens. Usually there's at least a couple people over 200. And it looks like there's only going to be Seth if he manages to finish it out and get above 200. Overall, the play field, though, also has been relatively weak. Not sure what Seth did there. I'm not sure if Queen b7 had to be played there. Maybe it did. But yeah, it made sense after looking at it. Rook trade, maybe. And rook c6. Pin on the rook, probably winning it. So yeah, instead plays here. There's probably this as well. Instead prefers to play rook to g and rook to c8. King f7 is forced here. Plays the king. I almost want to say that this is lost for white, but there is. Is there anything for white? This is a potential, but it loses. You have to play this, which loses to this. Oh. I feel like you have chances now. Maybe even here. And Queen c7. And then Queen a7. Oh, but yeah, here first. Looks very nice. I think there's here at this point, though. Potentially maneuvers to there. You can't maneuver to here, but potentially this, followed by here and here. Doesn't look too pleasant. So yeah, it's just lost for white at this point. Oh well. Overall, nicely played games though. Definitely not boring games. Definitely not disappointing games. Just a disappointing field overall. Just I think the play level was low. I think that the urge to win was also low for the majority of players. So Seth's gonna get second. Avi's gonna get first. Unless Cyber unpauses, then Cyber has chances at second. I think I make many mistakes also has chances at second if he unpauses, but I think I make many mistakes and Cyber Shutter are both done for the night. awkward line. This looks like it's playing into a poorly played out NXC2 symmetry line. I know that this is technically fine, just I don't like it. Like it almost just seems directly lost. The only thing you have going for you is this bishop diagonal. Free knight. I think that you have to take it at this point to keep the bishop, which is the only thing going for you. Rook g6, queen h6 probably coming. Now it doesn't look too bad for white at all. I still don't like this line. I feel like there were chances for black to do something more, but didn't. That's just losing. Now you have queen h7. Sure, you can come queen a7, but now there's king g6. Rook takes, bishop d3. This played instead, you still have king h6. You can't move your king up. Your piece is not looking very pleasant. You have knight to g7 followed by queen to g8. White's basically winning here. I think there really isn't anything else to do. Oh, you do have that directly. So, what, it would go here. Rook takes. Uh-oh. Bishop can swing here, and then you have here. Yeah, the queen's unpinned now, but I still would have moved the bishop first. I guess it's fine either way. Yeah, now your rook's under attack. Pretty standard stuff. Not a wild mid-game position. One thing I do dislike about these tournaments is that they often blitz through the mid-game like it's nothing. And they do stop for a couple moves, but that's it because they rely a lot on theory instead of intuition. Mate 1, bud. I think Seth pre-moved king h8 or something and then didn't realize that queen to h2 was played. Alright, well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. He's playing at 1600. There's probably gonna be a Seth blundering a lost position here, and then a fun puzzle to make out of it, but that's about it. But yeah, I'm gonna be done commentating for the Shield today. I'll probably upload this to the YouTube. It should be linked in the Twitch channel. If not, then I'll link it later. Otherwise, I'll post it in the Discord. But that's gonna be it for me tonight. Not bad stuff from Seth. Not bad stuff from Avi. Just not super impressed with the performance level of the Shield. Anyway, have a good night if it's nighttime for you. Good evening, I guess. Late afternoon, rather. And to whoever the other viewer is, good time of day, whatever your time of day is. And I'll see you next time if you want to tune in. It will be for streaming one of the Think Club Championship standard games. If I can, I'm going to choose to stream the higher seeds, which is Diego Alexander and I believe Diego Alexander and Dark Bishop. Yep, Diego Alexander and Dark Bishop, which I'll probably stream that game if I can. If not, I'll just stream an analysis of it. That'll be my next time. And that's it for today. So I'm out.